Hey guys, welcome back to Games of War. Today's episode we're going to take a look at my PlayStation Vita collection. It's an amazing handheld. It goes everywhere I go. I play it constantly. It's actually one of my most played systems. I think it's worth every penny. Just got a price drop. Before we get started, I recently opened a Twitter account, so if you'd like to follow me on there, you're more than welcome to. I promise you I'm not the most interesting. My life is not eventful, but if you want to talk games and see pickups before I post videos, go ahead and add me on there. I'll put a link in the description, and I hope to tweet with you guys soon. Enjoy the episode. Alright guys, starting things off, I do own the limited edition white PlayStation Vita Assassin's Creed Liberation bundle. I think the white looks great on the Vita. I'm a big fan of the Assassin's Creed games, and truth be told, I'm just a sucker for limited edition handhelds, special colors, special models. My goal is to collect every PlayStation Vita limited edition system that comes out. So for instance, if they release a God of War themed Vita, I'm going to buy it. An Uncharted themed Vita, it's mine. It might sound crazy to some people, but that's just the way I roll, and I like limited edition handhelds. As for the game itself, Assassin's Creed Liberation is an excellent game on the Vita, and it's a must-own if you're a fan of the Assassin's Creed line of games on the home consoles. Very little has been lost on the translation to the Vita, and it actually runs on the Assassin's Creed 3 engine, so you know that it's going to have all the same awesome gameplay, sword fighting, assassinations, climbing. It doesn't quite reach the highs set by Assassin's Creed 2 or Revelations, which are my personal favorite in the series, but it's a damn close try. Now you play as Evelyn, it takes place in New Orleans, and one of my favorite parts in the game is fighting through the bayous. You've got crocodiles trying to get you as you're dashing through the trees. It's just all really awesome stuff. There's really cool Vita-specific gameplay elements such as touchscreen chain kills and touchscreen pickpocketing, some gyroscope stuff thrown in there, and it actually adds to the game rather than taking away from it. Overall, Assassin's Creed Liberation is a game done right. It continues the excellent legacy of the series, and it's a must-own on the Vita in my opinion. Next up, we have one of my favorite launch games for the system, and that is Luminous Electronic Symphony. Now, I was a big fan of the original Luminous on the PSP. The second one I didn't like as much because it had music by the Black Eyed Peas and other commercial bullshit that I just not a big fan of. But this third one here, Electronic Symphony, has an awesome pumping techno soundtrack. It retains the core elements from the original Luminous, which is basically a Tetris kind of style game. You match up colored blocks, try to clear the screen. You've got a few new specific Vita additions, such as blocks that will clear, other blocks that are touching to the same color, and different things of that nature. If you're a fan of puzzle games and you like music-oriented puzzle games, then definitely slap a pair of headphones on and play this game on the Vita. You will not be disappointed. It's like a mini rave going on in the palm of your hands. Headphones make it that much better. Next up, we have what is, in my opinion, PlayStation Vita's best game at launch. This is the incredible Uncharted Golden Abyss. Now, I'm sure you've heard people say, "Oh, it doesn't match up to the PS3 Uncharted. It's a touchscreen stuff bogs it down." I say the hell with all that. This game is a technical marvel on the system. When I first put this into the Vita and played it, I could not believe that I was seeing a handheld produce graphics that looked this damn good. It's just truly amazing, a sight to behold. You know the deal with Uncharted. You play as Nathan Drake. It's a grand adventure. If you like the Uncharted games, this is definitely a must-own in the Uncharted family of games. Just astounding stuff on the Vita. Uncharted Golden Abyss I enjoyed from start to finish. A great game on the Vita and a must-own for sure. Next up, we have another favorite launch title of mine. That is Wipeout 2048. Another game that is just mind-blowingly good-looking on the Vita. The frame rate is rock solid, the racing is fast, the controls are pitch perfect. Wipeout is futuristic hovercraft racing done to perfection. Once again, a brilliant techno soundtrack pumping in the background. If you're into futuristic racing games or you've played a Wipeout game in the past and you like the series, then there is no excuse not to own Wipeout 2048. I think it's dirt cheap now, anywhere from 10 to 20 bucks. It's an excellent futuristic racer on the Vita, and is definitely one of the excellent launch titles for the system. Next up, we have Resistance Burning Skies, and this game had a lot of weight on its shoulders. Black Ops Declassified was a disaster on the Vita, and everybody was kind of waiting for the first great first-person shooter on the system. The Resistance series had a hardcore following on the PlayStation 3. It's one of the few first-person shooter franchises that I really enjoy on the PlayStation 3, so everybody had high hopes for this one. And it's done by Nihilistic, which doesn't have a very good track record. But you know what? I thoroughly enjoyed Resistance Burning Skies. It's not the most amazing first-person shooter. The graphics aren't the best on the system. But for what it is, it's a good entry into the series. People really trash this game, and it doesn't really deserve that trash and garbage. It's not that bad of a game. It's got some pretty, doable graphics for the system. The gameplay is fun. It's got some cool weapons. Would I hope that Insomniac would have done this game themselves? Yes, I do. But overall, it's a very competent first-person shooter on the Vita. The online offerings are sparse and minimal at best, but they're functional. And the game is definitely a lot better than a lot of the critics have you believe. Is it worth it? If you like first-person shooters and you're into Resistance, yeah, I'd say go for it. Next up on the Vita, we have one of the more underrated games, in my opinion, on the system, that is Silent Hill Book of Memories. Not a whole lot of talk about this game going on out there, but I think it deserves it. Now, if you're a fan of Silent Hill, and you're coming here looking for a traditional Silent Hill experience, you're going to be disappointed because this is a dungeon crawler. It can be played single player or over the internet with friends. A lot of fun as a co-op dungeon crawler. I had a lot of fun playing this with friends, but it's equally as enjoyable as a single player game. Now, what it does retain from previous Silent Hill games is the atmosphere, the creepy music, the dimly lit environments, and a lot of the monsters from the previous games like the nurses, the dogs. I had a lot of fun with the weapon system in this game. You're going to get rare weapon drops from bosses, and you have to maintain these through the levels by collecting wrenches to keep them from breaking. There's a really cool item inventory system where you can buy new items and earn new moves. Once again, the graphics look really great on the Vita. Excellent soundtrack. The beat 'em up action is great. Great collision detection. Enemies are spot on, and the story is really dark and kind of dreary. It's told through picking up scraps of paper and small cutscenes, fuzzy TV screens. It weaves a pretty cool tale, very depressing. Silent Hill fans looking for something a little different in their universe that they love, definitely check out Silent Hill Book of Memories. Next up, we have Gravity Rush, and this is a very important game to the Vita for a number of reasons. At the time of this game's release, all of the launch hype and madness had died down, and everyone was looking forward to the next great original exclusive Vita game. And that's exactly what we got with Gravity Rush. Now, Kat as a character is awesome to control. She looks great. There's all different kinds of costumes for her to get. But the main hook of this game is the gravity manipulation. Now, you might think to yourself, oh, gravity, it's been done before, but not quite like in this game. The way you can hurl Kat through the cities, over rooftops, it's just a sight to behold. It's a great control mechanic. Everything works very well. And it's really cool to be able to fly up into the air at top speeds and hurl her across towns. A very fast way of travel. The gravity is incorporated into her combat. You can do some flashy moves. There's some awesome boss battles, and the graphics are just superb on the system. It's got a really cool art style, and there's all kinds of gems to collect, which becomes very addictive in its own right. Gems everywhere, scattered all throughout the cities. Collecting these gems allows you to upgrade all your abilities, which is very helpful in doing battle against enemies and bosses. There's quite a few missions, and it can get pretty challenging, but overall, I really enjoyed my time with Gravity Rush. I think it's an excellent, original, exclusive game for the Vita. And if you're looking for something that's a little different, definitely check out Gravity Rush. It's a great action game with a great gravity controlling mechanic. I myself fell in love with the game and the character. Next up, we have Dragon's Crown. And this is an excellent action RPG done by the masters at Vanillaware. Now, what are these guys masters of? Beautiful, hand-drawn, epic 2D art. Oversized characters. Everything here looks gorgeous on the Vita screen. I went with the Vita version over the PS3 version due to the touchscreen controls with opening chests and such. I found it to be much more intuitive than using the right analog stick. But this game is really made for me. I love the old school Dungeons & Dragons throwback, beat 'em up gameplay, the looting, the grabbing new weapons, looking for that S-ranked weapon. I've had a lot of fun playing this online with friends. And overall, I just love this style of gameplay. There's never enough beat 'em ups in the world, so when one comes out that looks this gorgeous, this beautiful, and plays so well, absolutely stunning music. Overall, I just am in love with this game. I'll be playing this for years to come. It's definitely a game that looks great on the Vita, plays great on the Vita, and definitely worth any RPG, action RPG fans' time and investment. Next up, we have, absolutely hands down, my favorite platformers of this generation of gaming, Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends. Now, I could gush about these games forever. I'm going to try to keep it as brief as possible. Rayman is a very charming character. His world is alive and brimming with 2D hand-drawn brilliance. The Vita versions are my personal favorite. I think this game just pops off the screen, both of them for that matter. Everything animates so beautifully. This is precision platforming at its finest. You have to have old school gaming skills to navigate through these precision platformed levels. Everything is so charming. The music is outstanding. Every level is drawn with such detail. The sequel, Rayman Legends, is just a natural progression from the first, a better step up in every conceivable way. I love the music levels. Charm to spare. Platformer fans, you must own Rayman Legends and Origins. This is bringing the 2D platformer up to modern times and done with style. Some of the best platformers I've ever played, and they look great and run great on the Vita. These are the superior versions in my opinion. Next up we have Need for Speed Most Wanted, and this is an example of a game ported to the Vita but handled by the original development team. Now we see what happens when a developer hands off a game to some crappy developer like Black Ops Declassified. You're left with an extremely shitty game, janky code, and overall a terrible port. Now these guys had pride and respect for their games, and they handled the Vita version of Most Wanted in-house. An amazing racing game, very similar to the console versions. I think the only difference is a little bit less traffic on the street, which is fine with me because it's less bullshit to smash into. This game is a sight to behold running on the Vita. An excellent selection of cars, gameplay rock solid, frame rate smooth, everything looks like a console game on a little mini HD screen. This is the reason I love the PlayStation Vita, to play games that look like this, play like this. Need for Speed Most Wanted is an excellent port on the PlayStation Vita. Next up we have Muramasa Collector's Edition on the PlayStation Vita. Now Muramasa is once again done by Vanillaware, so you know that it has that beautiful 2D artwork. This is a reimagining of the Wii 2009 release. I enjoyed the game on the Wii. I'm not really a fan of the Wii's control scheme. I played with a nunchuck and the pointer, and it just didn't really do it for me. However, on the PlayStation Vita, all of that is remedied. It's like playing the game on a DualShock. The graphics look outstanding. They pop off the screen. This is an excellent action RPG. I was engrossed in this game from beginning to end. I need to play through it with the second character. I finished it with the girl. But overall, Muramasa for action RPG fans is a must-own on this system. Beautiful graphics. It looks excellent on the Vita. Rock solid frame rate. Once again, great music. This is an amazing port of an amazing game on the Vita. Definitely worth it for fans of the genre. And next up we have Ragnarok Odyssey. This is the Mercenary Edition. This is a action RPG, online, beat 'em up combat system. Different classes to choose from. You go out on missions, take down enemies, team up with friends to take down giant bosses. There's an awesome combat system at play in this game. Everything is extremely colorful. The game looks great. It's got excellent music. It's definitely recommended playing with friends. It is a lot of fun teaming up and taking down these bosses, teaming up on enemies, getting new weapons, getting the different cards and upgrading your abilities and weapons. Just an overall really fun game. It's not my favorite action RPG, but it's definitely a great game for the Vita, and if you're into this style of game, it's definitely worth a look. Next up we have The Walking Dead. Now this new release contains the original game, all 5 episodes, plus the DLC, the 400 days, or whatever it's called. I have finished the main campaign, the 5 episodes. I have not played the DLC yet, but I really like the TV show, and I really enjoy graphic novel, point-and-click style games, so this game was a no-brainer for me. The touch controls work very well in the Vita system. The graphics look great. This game is a roller coaster ride, starting from the second, actually towards the end of the first chapter and on, nail-biting, choice-making, just world gut-wrenching decisions that affect everything. If you're a fan of point-and-click graphic adventure style games, then you simply must play The Walking Dead. It's one of the genre's best, and it's a great fit here on the Vita. And my final game for the PlayStation Vita as of this recording is KJ Inafune, creator of Mega Man and Mighty No. 9, his game for the Vita, Soul Sacrifice. And this is one hell of an action RPG. It can be played single player or co-op, a lot of fun co-op, and I was totally amazed by the amount of content, backstory, and lore and mythology in this game. There is literally pages upon pages in this book, which you play as a sorcerer that his tale is told through this book. And there is just so much mythology and backstory of events that have taken place and people that have died and monsters and bosses. It's just amazing to flip through and read some of these little mini stories and backstories, and it's amazing to see all come together in this quest. Gameplay is hack and slash. You learn new spells, you defeat enemies, you can either save them or sacrifice them, which adds to different branching trees and skill trees. Learning these awesome new spells is a sight to behold. There's all kinds of cool attacks. The missions themselves and environments can get kind of repetitive, but it's easy to overlook that when you're having a lot of fun with buddies online, taking down bosses and using awesome magic spells. Voice acting is top notch in this game. The Libram, the book, cracks me up. Overall, a very creative and unique game from KJ Inafune, and definitely a game worth owning on the Vita if you're into quirky action RPGs. I hope you guys have enjoyed taking a look at my PlayStation Vita collection. I've had a lot of fun talking about the great games that are available for the system, and there's a lot of stuff coming out in the coming months that really looks great. Tearaway, the new Ease game, the new Killzone game. I think the future for the PlayStation Vita is a bright one indeed. I want to thank you guys for watching. Remember that Games of War is nothing without you. Guys, I almost forgot. I just wanted to make a quick statement, and please still support the PSP. There are still excellent RPGs being released in the system, such as Growlancer, Ragnarok Tactics, and Sweet Fuse just released a few days ago, where you play as the niece of KJ Inafune, saving the man himself from being kidnapped at a theme park. Awesome graphic novel, point and click stuff. So guys, the system is still well alive. It's just up to you to show it the love it needs. Thanks for watching.